Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome out to another edition of the Weekly, what I hope to be a live edition of the Weekly. We're going to try it out here. We've got a brand new setup, and we'll see how it goes. This is your update video from Monday, August 29th, 2023. And actually, that's not correct. It's for Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. Appreciate you taking some time to join in here today. I've got 4 things I want to run through with you. I've got a few reminders. We should be pretty quick here in this week's update video, though. As always, if you're watching back on YouTube later, I'll include the chapter titles below if you want to jump to the things that are most relevant to you. All right, let's jump right in today with something that we have discussed here the last few weeks, and that is our Midweek Kickoff event coming up actually in just over a week on Wednesday, September 6th. 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. We'll be in the sanctuary to start with, in the worship center, I should say, to start with, and then moving out into the lobby for a little mini midweek ministry fair. That'll give you kind of a picture of all the different opportunities that we have on Wednesday evening for you to get plugged in. We'll also have a time, the first 45 minutes or so of the evening, we're going to spend in worship and prayer and just dedicating those Wednesday night activities and programs that we're doing to the Lord. It will also give you kind of a taste of what the midweek prayer services are going to look like. We'll have some opportunities to pray through some specific things as a congregation, and then we're going to end the evening by praying through the prayer cards that are submitted on the weekends. Now, if you've ever participated in this in the services, I know before COVID, we had a specific prayer time in our service where people would come forward and get prayer cards. And we did a modified version of that through COVID. If you've ever participated in that, you know that how powerful of an experience that is, but you also know that there is an incredible weight of burden that is represented throughout all of the different things people are facing in our congregation. It's quite outstanding and very heavy. A lot of the things that people are facing, from illnesses that are some that are temporal, some that are terminal, to those who are in really challenging and what seem to be impossible family situations or relational situations, to job loss, to whatever it may be. There are people who are facing a lot of challenging situations, and coming together as a congregation to pray for those once a week is number one, something that is that we have exhorted to us in Scripture, but also number two, it reminds us of our foundation, and that is our trust in the Lord and continual trust in the Lord. So let me encourage you, if you're not plugging in anywhere else on Wednesday night, plug into the midweek prayer time there. Okay. A couple of quick reminders just for those who are participating. Like I said, worship will be from 6:30 to 7:15 p.m. We'll have our ministry fair and Awana kickoff from 7:15 to 8 o'clock p.m. Rehearsal times for those of you who are participating, and it's a small group of folks, you know who you are. I've already been communicating with you on this, but 5 o'clock p.m. is when rehearsal will begin. We'll rehearse from 5 to 6 and then be ready to go at 6:30 for the service. If you guys have any further questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I think it should all be pretty self-explanatory, though. Second thing today, I want to remind you about the midweek vocal rehearsal that's going to be kicking off here in 2 weeks. All right, 2 weeks from tomorrow night. We will be meeting from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. Right now, I'm planning for us to meet in the storage room, old B153, or the old choir room, as it's been called. It's had so many names over the years, but right now it's the storage room for the worship team backstage. We'll be meeting there on Wednesday evenings, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. to do our vocal rehearsals. Now, whenever the choir joins us, we'll actually meet in the sanctuary itself, since we'll need a bigger space. But for now, those of you, vocals, come back to B153, the old choir room, the storage room, whatever it is, whatever else you want to call it. I think at one time it was called the small activities room next to the large activities room. It's had so many names. I wish, I so wish that, or I so hope, I should say, one day for our precious room that it does get a name. And it gets a forever name. For now, just come back to the storage room. We will work through the vocal parts there. Now, for you to be able to participate vocals in this rehearsal, you can check all of the songs. Every song gets a lead sheet attached and a choir sheet that's attached to it. So check all of those songs and you can find those helpful tools. You can also, those on the vocal team, as you're working out vocal harmonies, you can text one another. I've found it really helpful even to just open up the voice recorder on your app. If you've got a particular harmony that you're singing maybe on a song, open up your voice recorder, sing through that harmony, and send it to one of your teammates. That's a really good way to prepare. But I want those vocal rehearsals, just like any other rehearsal, it's not a time to learn your part. It's not a time to figure out the nuts and bolts as far as like performance. What it is, it's an opportunity for multiple performers to be able to find cohesion in what it is they're doing together. To make this possible for you, because I know that everyone's time is limited, and I know that often you have to fit rehearsal into very specific time windows that line up within your schedule and within the activities of your family. So to make this possible for you, I'm actually moving the timeline of service planning up a week to where now we'll be finalizing services instead of the Monday before we go live on Sunday. We'll be finalizing it 2 Mondays before the Sunday. We used to do this and got away from it in different staff transitions that we had, and of course the all of the world that was shaken up during COVID. So but it's something I want to get back to. I'm actually, since we're doing the seasonal playlists, I'm planning services now more like from series to series. So I'm planning 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time. But as far as like communicating with you and making those final key selections and all of that, I'll be doing that 2 Mondays before a service goes live. So help me out with that. Don't think, oh yeah, it's 2 weeks away, we've got all kinds of time. I really want to finalize that early so that we have time to put the resources together. And then you've got a good 7 to 10 days to prepare before we then come in and do that first vocal rehearsal on Wednesday night. So it really is just an opportunity to open up that time frame a little bit and give you more control, I guess, over when you can fit in rehearsal for those, or fit in your own personal prep for those. Okay, very good. Like I said, those are starting September 13th. Just be on the lookout for that. And I'm really excited to get those up and going again. Okay, third thing for today is I want to do a couple of time reminders for the Fall Festival. If you want some more in-depth discussion about the Fall Festival, go take a look at last week's update video on the 21st. I went into a little more depth as far as how the grounds are laid out and the minutia as far as what the itinerary is going to look like. I'm actually going to bring up here over on the screen. Whoops. Sorry, wrong button. I would like to bring up the itinerary here, and I've highlighted a few things that I want you all to take a look at. These are kind of big, important times that I want to make sure are on your radar. Now, I've talked about Friday, the load-in time at 8 o'clock a.m. I know this is not going to work out for most of you, that load-in time, but I wanted to keep it in front of you in case there are some of you who do want to participate with the load-in and help set things up on Friday. There is still opportunity for that, and we're aiming to get started around 8 o'clock. Some of that may be adjusted as we get closer, and we're working with multiple vendors for this. So as we get them kind of coordinated, but the aim is to begin around 8 o'clock a.m. Now, this one is really important. Saturday morning, those of you who are on the Sunday morning team, you will do sound check and rehearsal at 8:30 a.m. I'd like everyone here on site and ready to go at 8 o'clock. So that means, remember, there's going to be some parking involved. You're going to have to drag some equipment, in and things like that. So you may want to aim to be here even around 7:30, 7:45, so you can get everything, get all your equipment out, go park, be able to walk, from that E-lot. If none of that, if all of that is brand new information to you, just go back to next week or to last week where I talked through, parking and all of that. But 8 o'clock a.m., I'd like everybody on site. We'll do breakfast, and we will rehearse basically until 11:30 a.m. For the worship night on Saturday night, that team, I'd like all of you here at 11 o'clock. That way you can have your gear, same thing, get your gear here, get parked and all of that. And then we'll do lunch at 11:30 and kick right into worship night rehearsal then at 12 o'clock. That way we have a 2-hour time frame. The fall festival, you all know about that. It'll be at 2 o'clock. And then we'll do our worship night at 4 o'clock p.m. that day. Any of you that participate, that are there through the afternoon and participating, we will provide dinner too on Saturday evening if you'd like. If you don't want that option, just reach out to me. That way I know not to plan for you there. Okay, and then Sunday morning, 7:30 a.m. call time. Again, I'd like everybody here on site in the tent ready for breakfast at 7:30 a.m., not parking at that time. And then we will do run through, sound check, everything like that from 8 o'clock to 9:15. And I believe I discussed this last week, how we're planning to do about 15 minutes worth of pre-service music for this service. So that'll be 2 to 3 songs. And you can take a look in Planning Center. I've already started putting a rough plan together for that, so you can get an idea of what I'm thinking about as far as song selection there. Then we'll have our Sunday morning service. We'll do kind of a picnic cookout here then in the afternoon at 11:30. Well, that's not really afternoon, but it's approaching afternoon. We'll have our lunch, and then loadout should start somewhere between 12:15 and 12:30 once everyone kind of finishes up lunch and we're ready to go. Those are kind of the big things with the fall festival, just keeping that itinerary in mind. I know it's going to be a big weekend. It's going to be a packed weekend, and hopefully that will help you create the margin that you need to in your week with all the other responsibilities. I know everybody's got a ton of responsibilities outside of this, so hopefully that'll help you kind of keep all of those in line. All right. Now, as far as new information is concerned, the final thing that I want to put on your radar is actually the plan for this Sunday. So let's take a look at this here in Planning Center. That's probably pretty small, actually, on your screen. Let me bump that up just a little bit here so you all can see that. Maybe a little better. We'll see. Kicking off the service this weekend, we will begin with Great Things, led by Elizabeth, followed by Psalm 100. This is the new one that Joe led a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to have him lead it again in the actual set. And we should have horn charts ready to go for that for Sunday. So horns be ready to, or be prepared to participate on that one. We'll then go straight into our welcome greeting time, and then coming out of welcome into all I have is Christ and the goodness of Jesus. We'll likely have a bumper transition right here. We're starting a new series called The Difference this Sunday morning. You've probably heard me talk about that a little bit. I'll give you the 30-second rundown here. The Difference is a 3-week sermon series where we're going to explore Jesus against all of the different world religions that are popular, I guess, in our time, and how Christ is supreme, and how actually Christ is Lord over all. And so all of those world religions pale in comparison to who Christ is. Christ is the truth, the way, the truth, and the light. And so we are looking at some of the dominant systems like Buddhism, Islam, and I believe the last week there's kind of a conglomeration of a few different popular world religions that more I guess influence kind of the secular society that we're in right now. And I'm excited. Tom's going to kind of walk us through all of that. But that's where we are. We're starting a new series, and this bumper video should go. I'm sorry. If we have a bumper video, it'll go in conjunction with the difference. If we don't, we'll do a prayer right there, and then we'll transition to the message. We'll have our message, of course, and then we'll end with yet not I, but through Christ in me. This will be full band and the full team for the invitation here at the very end, benediction, then we're out. The only thing you're not seeing here is we will likely have a call to worship before great things, and we might have a scripture transition between welcome and greeting and all I have is Christ. All of that we'll discuss further on Sunday morning during our Circle Up time. Okay, well, that is pretty much it for today. I've got 3 reminders I want to keep in front of you here. Number 1 is the fall 2023 song list. If you've not been engaging with that, let me encourage you to start checking that out and start getting familiar with the songs. These are the 20 songs that we're going to be singing in all of our services from this Sunday, September 3rd, all the way through the end of November. I think the last Sunday in November is November 26th, I believe. So all the way, through that last Sunday in November, we're going to be choosing from these 20 songs for our services. If you've not checked that out, there is a link in the description, both on YouTube and on Facebook. You can check both of those out there. And if you're on the Facebook group, you probably have seen a post the last week to 10 days. I put a post in there about possibly doing a fall worship team party at Edison's on November 17th, I think it was. I think it was a Friday, November 17th. It was brought to my attention that there's actually a student event that starts that day and kind of goes through the weekend. And I certainly don't want to do anything that's going to interfere with our student worship team members being able to participate in this as well. So I'm actually looking now at maybe Friday, November 3rd as a possible Edison's worship team party night. I'd like for you all to reach out and respond. Let me know if that's a good option for you. You can shoot me a text or comment on this video or whatever works well. But let me know about the third. And then the final thing today, remember, those of you who are participating with the choir, the first choir Sunday is September 24th, and our rehearsal for that will be the Wednesday before September 20th, 5 to 6 p.m. We still do our Sunday morning rehearsal at 7, but we'll be rehearsing all the vocal parts specifically at that Wednesday night, September 20th rehearsal, 5 to 6 p.m. in the worship center. Okay, everybody, that is all for today's update video. I hope you all have a great week, and I look forward to serving with all of you who are serving this coming weekend. Take care.